Parvati Nair joins us now. She's a professor of Hispanic Cultural and Migration Studies at Queen Mary University of London. Thank you very much for your time. Now, a full court hearing on whether the plan is legal or not is scheduled to take place next month. On what grounds do human rights groups argue the illegality of this scheme? And should deportation flights actually be taking place before that hearing?
Well, I think we know that the UK is a signatory to the Refugee Convention and its associated protocol. And as such, there is an obligation to consider the cases of asylum seekers who arrive on UK territory. And in this instance, what is happening is a migration and economic development deal with a country, an African country, Rwanda, whereby these people who have arrived in the UK and would like to be settled here and find shelter or refuge in this country are through with no consultation or choice on their part, are being sent off forcibly to Rwanda. And through this deal that has been agreed with Rwanda.
How are these refugees being transported to Rwanda chosen? Is it random, or is there some kind of background check?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting to see where some of them, many of them come from. Many of them have crossed the Channel, and have already had arduous journeys and suffered great displacement, before they arrived at the UK. So we've all heard of the Calais jungle that was dispersed, but there remains in France a very large number of people who are seeking asylum in the UK, and their preferred destination is the UK. They certainly do not wish to be sent off to a country that is not, one of their choice. And as such, we know that there are Iranians, Iraqis, Syrians, Albanians, people generally from poorer countries with histories of conflict, poverty, inequality, lack of infrastructure. These are the profiles that you find typically. There are also some cases of people without, as they are people without papers, there are cases where it has been argued that some of these people are actually children.
Tell us a little bit more about the kind of experience they might be greeted when they get to Rwanda. What kind of life could these refugees have, do you think?
Well, Rwanda is a country with, of course, a long history that was troubled. It is a post-conflict country. It's a country with a large number of refugees, and also people from Rwanda going off to other countries as refugees, particularly in the East African region, which has one of the highest refugee populations in the world. These people will be housed in Hotel Hope initially, which is a hostel that has been used to accommodate survivors of the genocide in Rwanda. The Rwandan government obviously has great vested interest in this deal because it brings in a considerable amount of money in a wider socioeconomic landscape where foreign aid has been seriously cut. And these people, will initially be housed in this place, and if their cases are successful, they will remain in Rwanda.
Now, since this scheme was announced in April, it doesn't look like it stopped refugees from coming to the UK in terms of the larger numbers. But do you think now that this scheme has actually started, it might deter refugees from trying to make the crossing into the UK?
I don't really think so. This particular scheme is, if you like, a scaling up of an entire process around bordering that has been a feature of the political landscape of Europe and the UK for many decades now. And there are serious human rights concerns around this bordering policy. And none of it has actually served to deter undocumented migration of the displaced. And this is because people who are displaced will always have to seek somewhere else, and typically a wealthier, safer society in which to integrate and settle.
Okay, we'll leave it there for the time being. Parvati Nair, thank you very much. Professor from Queen Mary University, London.